Hello and welcome to the Isle of Dota channel. In today's video, I'll be going through my experiences with the Planet Zoo beta. Firstly, I would love to point out that despite having a lower end PC, my game looked amazing regardless. On its lowest settings, I thought my game was running on medium until I actually checked and was shocked to see it was on its lowest settings. If you do end up enjoying this video, please don't be afraid to hit the thumbs up button or give us a subscribe. I'll be playing lots of Planet Zoo when it comes out, and every like and comment and subscription really does make a lot of a difference for a starting channel. Whether your PC just manages to play the game on its lowest settings or on its highest settings, you definitely will not be disappointed by the beauty this game has to offer. Secondly, after playing Planet Coaster, and admittedly struggling to run small to medium-sized detailed parks, I did not have high hopes for Planet Zoo once I started acquiring animals. But in the end, I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know how, but it was still running fine, 60 animals into it with over 9 large habitats. However, I will admit, there were a lot of glitches, some game breaking, others minor, from the entrance fee resetting instantly to being unable to feed animals or perform research, with some that I personally had experience with, among other bugs. There were a few times where I admittedly got rather irritated, being unable to find a workaround for some major bugs for a good day or two, though for the most part I did thoroughly enjoy the beta. I have every faith that Frontier will be able to smooth out most, if not all, of these bugs by the time of launch. Franchise mode had some issues, though all in all, I believe it is a great new game mode to try out. The idea of owning my own zoo franchise that I can seemingly endlessly expand is amazing to me. I have so many ideas that the ability to have a chain of zoos is perfect for me. I also love that we will have an offline franchise mode, alongside the campaign with scenarios and the sandbox mode. This offers a lot of variation, and I can see myself playing all of them, each for different reasons. I think the offline and online variations will come in handy for those who prefer one or the other. Now let's be real. Lots of the animations, specifically between animals, were disabled for the beta, and those which we did see were perfectly done. I spent literal hours following my animals around in Animal Cam, just watching them do their thing, with me so excited and in awe at just how cute and amazing they were. So the dev team really have done an amazing job with the animals for sure. As you can probably tell from the background clips, I did thoroughly enjoy watching my animals, just as much as I enjoy playing the game for what it was. Although, with it only being 2 weeks, and me not being rather well at the time of the beta, I felt quite stuck for time, so there wasn't too much that I got to delve into really deeply, so it was mainly just watching my animals and building up my zoo. Although I do hope to focus more on the way things look and the way things are designed when it does come out in full release. At first, the breeding was a bit over the top. You couldn't avoid being bombarded by so many babies. Don't get me wrong, I love babies as much as the next guy, but it did kind of take that to a whole new level. It was impossible to keep track of who was the mother, dad, son, daughter, because babies were being born so quickly you couldn't put them on contraceptives quick enough, especially when you had lots of different species in your park, especially in the scenario one, for instance. Though one of the later patches seemed to fix that. Some argue it was done better, others argue it was nerfed way too much. For me, I'm somewhere in between. For some animals, I was getting a good amount of babies, not too many, not too frequently. However, other animals just wouldn't seem to breed for decades, and when they did, the parents were near dead, and I had to buy more animals to breed to prevent an appalling inbred gene pool. I did not expect to get any patches in the beta, let alone 3 or more. I don't know the specifics, but we had quite a few. The fact that they kept working on our feedback and were so committed to starting working on fixing the bugs was really great in my opinion. It might be hard to believe for those who don't play games as much and aren't as much of gamers, so they don't go through this process as much. But fixing one bug can cause other bugs. So the fact that some patches added more bugs did not surprise me or dampen my spirits at all. It's part of the process. Although I know some people developed bad bugs after being relatively bug free, so I completely understand some people's frustrations with these matters. So I for one had the park entrance fee resetting constantly after I think it was the second update, and before that I'd been relatively bug free. So I do understand the frustration to a certain degree, although I will say it just shows they're making progress, although it doesn't seem it. It kind of seems like they're making one step forward, 3 steps back, but in reality they're just trying to kind of get rid of and then like a chain of bugs which are all kind of knocked onto each other in a sense. So you've got to start at the beginning and work your way around until they've just all been smoothed out, and that's what they're kind of doing. And that's kind of simple terms because I don't know the non-simple terms because I am not a game developer or a modder. I'm just someone who likes to look into this stuff. And I will say another point to that is, like, after all, like, most people did purchase the deluxe edition, did buy it almost exclusively so they could gain the 2 weeks beta access, in which they did presume they would be able to continuously play, rightly so. Though for some, the bugs were that bad that they had to halt playing until someone else found a workaround or the next beta patch dropped. And obviously, not everyone has unlimited time on their hands. People work, people have jobs, people need to sleep, so being able to play it as frequently isn't always an option. And it can feel like you're not getting your money's worth in a sense. I will say though, that all in all, the beta was amazing. I enjoyed the way everything felt. Paths were a bit of an issue for me. They have been in Planet Coaster, and they still are. I'm sure we'll find our own workarounds for that if it doesn't get altered on release. It's probably more due to the game engine than the fact that they've just copied and pasted the path from Planet Coaster type of thing. So I do know that there are quite a few animals that won't be revealed until we play the game upon launch. That I'm quite happy with because it leaves some stuff to still be discovered and to be pleasantly surprised about. It kind of suck, in my opinion, for me, if we had every single thing, whether it was the animals or the different themes for the decorations, just revealed to us before the game's out there. It gives you nothing to be kind of like, oh, I didn't expect that when you see it. It's kind of like, oh, there's a thing that they said was going to be in it. Way! Still good, but it's nice to have that pleasant surprise. And it kind of helps keep the hype up as well, in my opinion, because it can get tiresome when you're just waiting for the next information to drop and you've got that time to wait till the release, especially after having played it. It's nice just to kind of have things left to the imagination for me to keep thinking about, like, oh, I can speculate to myself what animals there might be, or I can speculate to myself what different themes we're going to have. It's not all laid out on the table, so I don't get as frustrated with the fact we're not getting more information, because I know we're not going to get as much more information. I'm kind of just blabbing now, but yeah. I'm excited. It's been such a good game, and I genuinely believe it's going to go far. I'm not too fussed if we're going to have DLCs to kind of complete some continents and areas of the world. In my opinion, most games do have DLCs nowadays. It's hard to produce so much content to have the whole game made and released in a realistic time schedule. Like, if they halted releasing the game for, say, another year so they could produce all the DLC and just make it one slightly more expensive whole game, people are waiting a hell of a lot longer for the game, and they're going to be running out of money to keep funding themselves to keep making the game. So personally, I think that DLCs are very helpful to the game franchise. They're very helpful to the developer team to keep them because they're compensated. They can keep adding more content on because they've got the money and the funds to keep working on it. And with obviously the animations we've got so far and all the thought they've put into it, I can't see it being money not well spent. In my opinion, I'd love for us to have different variations of different species, not just having, say, one type of antelope. I'd rather have multiple. I'd rather not be stuck to, say, either the African elephant or the Asian elephant. I want to have both of them. I don't want to have, like, say, just the grizzly bear and not the black bear or the polar bear. Why would I want to have one or the other if I could have them all? I don't mind if I have to pay to have some extra animals in the future, and that's how I get them all. And at the end of the day, DLCs you don't have to purchase, you can choose to buy it. If you don't think that money is going to be well spent on it, you don't have to buy it. Nowadays people are so hung up on, oh, games are getting more and more expensive, but nowadays they can't produce games as quickly because the game engines are changing. They've got more stuff they can add to games. They're trying to push the limits a lot more than they used to, so there's a lot of time and effort put into them. Obviously there were before, but in general I reckon it would take a larger team and more time to make games nowadays than it would have done back then, due to the fact that things are progressing. So, is it greedy for them to want to make some more money to help keep the game going and potentially fund more games in the franchise of the Planet Universe? I think not. Although if you're not as into the game or you're not as bothered about other animals, you probably think it's a waste of money, and that's fair enough. I'm not going to fault you for having that opinion, or any opinion for that matter. But yeah, all in all, I'm so super excited to start making my own sandbox zoos, amazing habitats, my own franchise, going through the scenarios. I don't think I'm going to know what to do. I'll be hopping from one to the other all the time because I don't like to be stuck to one thing. I'll start off a detailed part of like a sandbox zoo, and then all of a sudden I'll just end up being there like, nah, I want to start a franchise. And then it'll like, no, I want to go and hop over and do some of the scenario, and that's what it'll be. So when I do start making Planet Zoo content, it will likely be quite regular as I can keep up with editing it. I'm not really pressuring myself with a schedule for uploading at the moment. I hope to do it weekly, although my health can cause troubles with that, so it might not be. But I'm so excited to just have a game I can relax to. Besides when your animals are all kicking off and escaping and you don't know what to do. But besides those moments, it would be nice just to have a game that's so relaxing and where you can feel good when you come off it. Like, when you're playing it, you feel like you're doing some good. And I think learning more about animals, people being around them more in, obviously, the Planet Zoo environment when they're playing the game, I hope it will help spark more of an interest and a drive in people to try and help save the animals on our planet before it's too late. For some it might already be getting too late, but for others it's still not. I don't think we can keep ignoring this ever-growing list of endangered species and species that could be or are near extinct. So I think this game could be really good for sparking a conversation and driving more people to look at things in a different way, maybe. Because it's one thing being able to watch things on documentaries, we all love that, but you don't necessarily get a personal attachment to stuff, whereas if you're playing a game where you're raising animals that look real, act real, and you're seeing them from being a baby to growing up, and then getting released to the wild or sold to a different zoo or dying, it's easier to build a connection, even though it's less real, in the sense that obviously it's a game, it's not the real life animals. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. Let's hope I can get enough bleeding clips together to cover this whole massive chat. Those are probably going to get cut out, so whatever rambling you do have, I'm sorry. We're only new, and we've got quite a lot of ideas ahead, so stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next video.